Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome along to a bonus Premier League tonight. We've got so much strength and depth here that we've managed to substitute Michael Ballack for Steve McManaman. Not many clubs can say that. Hello, Steve.
How are you, mate? You OK?
Yes, very well. How was your cup of tea?
It was very nice. I haven't drank it yet because Leo kept on telling me to hurry up.
That's because Leo is in charge of the studio. And
I've been out there for 4 hours. I can't even have a cup of tea.
All right, have a little sip. Go on.
No, I'm all right. I'll have in a minute.
OK, right, let's take a quick look then at the headlines after a busy evening in the Premier League this evening. Hornets sting Arsenal. We will start with that. We'll hear from some Arsenal fans. You know, tonight, Chelsea dropping points and Arsenal will go and lose. Nightmare for them. Let's have a look at the other headline tonight. Swans on song. Another brilliant win for Paul Clement. Swansea. It's working out well for them. No wonder Alfie Mawson is delighted. And finally, this is a big transfer story. Record-breaking Brady. Brilliant. Robbie Brady, one of Norwich's best players, has gone to Burnley, but it's for plenty of money, so I'm sure Norwich will invest it wisely. Now, tonight we've got a transfer trends table, so all the big transfers that are happening are being talked about by you on social media, so if you take a look at the screen, you can see what is being discussed at the moment. Robbie Brady to Burnley is the big talking point. That's a transfer record for Burnley. Gabbiadini to Saints, that's from Napoli, we believe, for about £17 million. Palace in there for Kone and Sacco. Igalo to China, amazing what 2 goals in a year can do for you, and Dembele staying put at Celtic. Let's get going then. Let's talk Arsenal. These are the thoughts of Mo Haider.
Appalling, absolutely appalling. That first half was unforgivable, and as good as the second half was, champions don't talk about heroic defeats, or the 3-3 at Bournemouth. Champions don't talk about heroic draws. Champions talk about heroic wins. And what we've seen out there tonight tells you exactly why we're not going to be champions this year, unless we really, really turn it around somehow. But unfortunately, I can't see it, and that just wasn't good enough.
Look, it's a bad defeat for Arsenal, no doubt about it, but that's the first game they've lost, I think, since December the 18th, something like that. And it's not great because it's against Watford, but these things happen.
Yes, they do, don't they? And I think the fact that I think we all looked at this result tonight, and of course Tottenham, because everybody dropped points, there's always a reason why it hurt a little bit more. If we would have won, we would have won 3 points. But, you know, in their own right, Watford are a good team, and by all accounts it was a really good performance, and they very rarely threatened tonight, Arsenal.
They're a good team, Watford, but they shouldn't be beating Arsenal at Arsenal when Arsenal are challenging for the title and Chelsea are dropping points here.
Yeah, when you're going towards winning the league, home form is paramount. You win your home games, and against teams like Watford, no disrespect, you get set out to win them games, and invariably the champions will go out and just dismantle them teams, or they'll scruffily nick a 1-0. Arsenal don't seem to be able to do that. That's what happens throughout a season. There's moments in the season where you think they could gain points, poignant moments in the season. They just don't grasp them opportunities, and that's just a shame that we kind of always come back to that kind of Achilles heel for
this.
It's not
a shock, is it, unfortunately? No. It's not a shock when we talk about Arsenal in this respect, is it?
I suppose
the fans don't want to hear that, but we say it.
But they'll be thinking same old story, won't they? And
but that's what happens. Liverpool lost to Swansea. It happens. Arsenal have lost to Watford. While Chelsea normally, as Rio just said, normally the champions will just grind out results. When they're struggling for a little bit of form because they can't be magnificent every week, they'll be defensively strong and they'll win 1 or they'll win 2 and they'll win scruffily, and they'll just leave the ground with the 3 points, and that's all that matters.
But something has to change, doesn't it, at Arsenal? They can't keep on doing the same old thing each year, pushing for the title, falling away about now and finishing in the top 4.
Yeah, it's not just Arsenal, as Macca said. It happened to Liverpool here last week or a couple of weeks ago against Swansea, and the reason why Chelsea will go on and probably walk away with the title is because Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, they've got that type of result in the locker.
We're in a strange situation though, where normally you'd look at Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs and talk what a brilliant season they're having, but the fact that Chelsea have been so good and so dominant and won so many games puts everyone else into perspective. It just looks perhaps worse than it maybe is.
Yeah, I think that Chelsea have thrown the gauntlet down to the other teams. Are you good enough to catch us? Are you consistent enough? And to win leagues, you've got to be consistent. Week in, week out, grind results out, and they're doing that better than anyone else.
And even though they dropped points today, Chelsea, they never look as if they're going to concede goals. They haven't got many mistakes in them.
The spine's so strong.
So strong.
Even when they don't play well, they still get big results on the road away to the top teams when they don't play well.
They look comfortable tonight. I heard you say it after the game. As much as it was 1-1, they always looked as if they were in control. They came here not to lose. And apart from maybe the Firmino header late on in the game, they looked really strong tonight.
OK, well, with Chelsea looking so strong, it makes you wonder why the fellow top 6 haven't gone out and spent bags of money in January to try and improve their squads. And that's exactly what Mike wants to talk about. He's a Man United fan.
Hi guys, Mike here. So it's transfer deadline day and there's not really been much action at all from the top six at all. And I'm just wondering what you guys think that means about the quality of the squads that the top six have, and also whether you think there is business that those clubs should have done. Thank you.
Thank you. So is it just a case of the fact that it's just so hard to do good business in January so they haven't bothered? Or are these clubs looking at Chelsea, seeing they're so good and thinking they're going to win the league, wait until the summer, strengthen then and do it properly? What's going on?
Well, I personally don't think there's a lot of good business to be done. Yes, there has been the odd signing that have come in and refreshed teams in the past, Ozils, the Suarez's, but I don't think this year, even all the signings that have happened, they haven't excited me, not whatsoever. I can see why teams are doing business, but I can see why the teams in the shot there, I can easily see why they're not doing business as well.
I think the only reason you would make a signing now, or a big sign now, if one was available, is to go into your 11. But I think a lot of the top six sides are settled with that 11 and they don't want to waste the money, they want to save it and maybe go stronger in the
And also, that top band of player, who's actually available?
Who's going to sell? Yeah,
everyone's talking about the Griezmanns, etc., but Atletico Madrid, they're fighting for things as well. They're not going to sell. The financials, in terms of needing to sell to remain financially viable, that's not the case.
There can't not be a single player or two or three players out there that wouldn't improve some of the sides in the top six.
Yeah,
you might have to go and spend the money.
How do you get them, though?
Yeah, but also, Jake,
big money.
A lot of them, for instance, cannot play for the teams that want these players in the Champions League because they're already in the Champions League, so they can't play for another team. So why would you leave mid-season, in January, late on, when you can easily leave in the summer and you've got 2 months to acclimatise into your new club, you've got 2 months to get yourself settled into a house, and you give yourself the opportunity and the time to get yourself measured? I wouldn't even dream of going at this time of the year if you're playing in a Champions League team and you're still involved. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The top players aren't desperate to go anywhere, really, normally. Unless there's a top player who's not in the team, who's just out of the team for some reason, fallen out of the club, then you can maybe see something happening. But if you're comfortable in your surroundings, I keep looking at Griezmann because his name has been talked about quite a lot recently, but he's comfortable at Atletico Madrid, so he's in no rush. If it happens in the summer, it's a better move, like I said, all round for him as a person, as a football player, his family, so there's no need to rush now.
And he's playing in the Champions League for Atletico Madrid, so he's got a chance of competing for that because they have done over the last couple of years. And he's probably thinking, yeah, OK, Manchester United is a big attractive move, but it's still going to be there in the summer.
They're in the Copa del Rey semi-finals, I think, now against Barcelona. Why on earth would he leave? I tell you what is exciting, looking forward, is this next summer, June, July, August, because everybody seems to have lots of cash available, don't they? Liverpool have certainly made a profit, and they look as if they're going to make another profit, albeit a small one. I don't know where the Sacco's going to go, but they're going to make even more money in this window, coupled with the likes of Chelsea's, the Uniteds, the Cities, the Arsenals. There's going to be huge amounts of money spent in the summer.
And they're fighting against China now as well, because they're taking players.
And the fight is real.
When you see some of the prices today that some of the players are moving for, it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. OK, right, let's hear from Alex. He's a Man City fan.
How you doing, guys? Alex here from Blue Moon Rising TV. Hope you're all feeling pretty good. Happy transfer deadline day to you all. Gotta say, I'm in a good mood. Feels like it's been a good January for Manchester City. We brought in Gabriel Jesus, who, if he lands on his feet, looks like he could be something extra special for Manchester City. We've managed to keep a hold of all of our big names. We've not had anybody swanning off to China or anything like that. But on top of it, and perhaps most importantly, Vincent Kompany, Captain Fantastic, is back, fit again, playing for Manchester City. And I've got to ask Rio, as a defender, how important could Vincent Kompany be to the second half of Manchester City's season?
Huge. He's the experience. He was the talisman when he was fit. A fantastic player. But the only question mark you've got against him is his fitness. And he's broken down time after time in the last couple of years. And he's played 1 or 2 games that you've got to see him after 5, 10 games. Give him that opportunity to go out there and really get playing consistently, and then we can really say, yes,
that's
he's
the key,
back.
is keeping him fit, isn't it? It's so hard as you get to the age he's at and you keep breaking down, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's got to get Pep's trust that he can repeat games and Pep can trust him to be available every single game. Everyone knows he's good enough, he's got the experience, he's a top centre-half, but can he prove to Pep that he can be available every week? That's what he'll probably judge from now till the end of the season.
His reputation's gotten better, hasn't it?
Yeah.
While he's been injured.
Yeah.
Because the
so often, doesn't it?
The defenders have performed at times, abysmally. So, you know, now he stepped in, a bit like Mane tonight. Everybody expects him to come onto the pitch and be amazing straight away, and I think that's what they want from Vincent, don't they? They want him to come on and really command that line. The one thing I would say, it's brilliant to see him back. You don't like anybody, you know, missing games through injuries, isn't it? And it's, I just hope he stays fit and well right to the end of the season.
I think I'd like to see John Stones get a run of games with him, because I think that's one of the things that I think he hasn't had, is that someone good enough alongside him and with leadership and experience to guide him through the early stages of his Manchester City career. And I think if Company had been fit, there may have been a different outcome in the way that John Stones is perceived at the moment.
You don't think he's learning much from Otamendi?
No.
You sure?
Let's talk Watford. We can't talk about the Arsenal result without talking about Watford. Here's Andy.
I can't believe what I've just seen. 2-1 away at the Emirates. We're on a horrible run of form, and we've come here, we've played the football we know we can play, and we've come away with a massive 3 points, especially after our performance on Sunday and the games being so close together. Nobody, including me, saw that coming. Watford FC, 3 points at Emirates. Come on, you all.
Right, making Arsenal fans feel even worse having watched that, talking about how poor they've been, then they go and beat Arsenal. But it's another reminder of what's brilliant about the football in this country. We saw it this weekend with the FA Cup, we've seen it tonight, we've seen it all season long in the Premier League. If you turn it on, you can beat the biggest and the best.
Yeah, and long may it continue. But that's what we do it for, don't we? That's why the bookies keep getting richer and richer and richer. It's because we all back Arsenal and they lose. You know, in Tottenham tonight, we all expected Tottenham to go up with their line-up tonight, and the fact that Sunderland have got so many problems and players have left and players have come in, they seem to be in disarray, and they ground out a really important point, albeit Palace and Swansea have won.
It's crucial, and that scrap at the bottom now all the time is getting real, isn't it? I mean, obviously, Watford are just above that, but look how tight that's looking now. Bad night for Hull, who didn't play, of course. They dropped down to the very bottom. But
that's why this league is the most entertaining. I don't care what anyone says. In terms of quality, you can argue with different leagues, Spain being maybe the best, etc., because of the 3 or 4 teams they've got at the top end of their leagues. But when you look at this league, from bottom to top, it's so competitive. There's nothing between a lot of the teams, and anyone can beat anyone. You turn on the TV on a Saturday evening, you don't know what's going to come in. And that's the excitement about this league.
It's proper, isn't it? OK, let's have a quick look at what you're talking about on social media at the moment regarding transfers. And Hull loan, that seems to have gone to the very top. He's gone from Villarreal to Hull, so he's joining the team who've just gone to the bottom of the Premier League, so it's a big move for him. And you can see that Ake has popped up there. He's third in that list at the moment. The news is that Eddie Howe has said he's staying at Chelsea. He's not going to be going to Bournemouth. Of course, he was on loan at Bournemouth. Chelsea recalled him, and I think Bournemouth did their best to try and get him today, but it didn't happen. Right, it's been a good day for Palace today. Let's hear from Michael.
Massive, massive, massive result this evening. Townsend came on, looked good, might be staying. Who knows at this rate? Benteke getting a goal, clean sheet. Looks like we've got some signings coming in. Sakho's looking likely. Unbelievable. Turning point for our season. I think we're staying up. Can't say much more than that. Happy as anything right now. Let's hope we get a few more players in the window. Loving it.
Love it. It's despair all season long. Good night, and you're delighted. Sakho and Kone, would they be good for them?
I'd definitely go for Sakho if I was Big Sam. Quality defender, big leader at the back, and I think that's where they've struggled for most of the season, conceding goals. But it's amazing what a big win can do for you this time of the year. A couple of weeks ago, all the Swansea fans were on, is it too late? We're having a nightmare, it's a disaster. 2 wins on the spin, and they're going well. If Crystal Palace can win one more, they might stay up as well.
And there's absolutely no point Sakho just sitting here, is there? He might as well go and enjoy his football and have a...
Might as well go and play, whether he goes on loan or, whether they can do a deal, which seems likely. But he has to play football, doesn't he? He hasn't played. He's only playing for the under-23s, which is probably doing him no good at all. He's probably stopping the development of some of the younger kids playing because he's there. So yeah, he needs to play, and he needs to play Premier League football, aggressive football, and then he can try and get back into the French team.
He'd improve that defence, wouldn't he?
Yeah, very much. I think he's Liverpool's best defender if he's fit and available to play. Yeah, I think last season he was very good, and I think they've probably missed him this season. Like Stevie said, he was their leader at the back there, athletic, and he'll be a great addition to Crystal Palace if they were to get him, because I think he'll add a bit of pace and aggressiveness to that back four. And
you know him very well, you know the kind of guy he is. Would he rather go there and have a fight, or just stay here and play with the kids?
Knowing the character, he'd rather go and have the fight. And, he's obviously fallen out with the manager here for whatever reason. He's completely out the picture. It doesn't look like there's any way back. So, as a professional, we're all the same. We all want to play week in, week out and challenge ourselves. And if Crystal Palace is the best option for him, if I was him, I'd go for it.
And it's taken a while for Big Sam to get that Premier League win. He's just got to build on that now.
Yeah,
we all expected that sort of initial bounce with Sam going there, didn't we?
Very much so, and he's got his win tonight. It's a huge feel-good factor. You have to give, you know, the owners and, you know, the people in charge a lot of credit, because they've certainly splashed the cash, haven't they? Whether you agree with it or whether you agree with the prices, he's brought in a load of people, and you know, there's still that win tonight has kept them in touch with Swansea's and the Leicesters and the Middlesbroughs there, and you would expect them, like the gentleman said, the fan, that they should go on now and be better, because they are. I thought they were in a false position anyway. They just went through an awful run. New faces, new feel-good factor around the place, a little bit of positivity. I expect them to be okay.
Beware these false dawns in the Premier League.
Absolutely.
As a Norwich fan, you know them well. Right, let's hear from Michael, a Sunderland fan.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, the Swansea and Palace results did take the gloss over that a little bit, but at the same time, you know what? That's a great result for Sunderland. Only time will tell if we actually bother to build on that result, because I think while we can frustrate Tottenham and Liverpool to draws, proof we can compete in games when we try. Why didn't we do that against Burnley, Stoke or West Brom? Come on, I mean, against Stoke it was a shambles, it was pathetic. Honestly, it doesn't help the fact that we didn't bother to go for a forward on deadline day, although bear in mind I've missed nearly all of it, so I don't know what's gone on, but if we can somehow go to Palace and win now, it's huge. Let's just hope for God's sake something happens. Come on, Sunderland, but good point. Very happy with that.
Oh, what a big game that is, eh?
Yeah. I love the fact that they're just all full of hope, aren't they, if we can go to Palace and get
But that's the life of a football fan.
And Palace are looking at it going, right, we've got Sunderland, we'll beat them. And somebody's going, unfortunately, is going to be on this show crying their eyes out next week.
Yeah, news has just come through. Sakho's made the trip to London. He's a Palace player. Your instant reaction to that?
Permanent or loan?
Permanent or loan is the question regarding Sakho on loan till the end of the season.
It's a good move.
It's a great move for him.
£2 million loan fee, so they spent some money to get him there. But you know what? If he keeps you up, it's £2 million
money well spent.
And
it's great for him as well, Stephen.
Great for him, great for Crystal Palace, because he'll settle in quickly. He's a good, you know, he's certainly a good addition for them.
Yeah, and they've not struggled to score goals this season. It's just keeping the ball out the net's been a problem. And if you think he's the best defender here, you must surely think he's now the best defender at Palace.
Yeah, and he's just got to go in there and fit in. And I think he seems like someone who's eager to play, wants to get back in and play some football. And I think when you've got hunger in players, I think that hopefully will spread through the team. And I think that's what Big Sam will be hoping.
And you know what, even if you don't get those instant results with Sam Allardyce, what you do get is a man who can convince footballers to come and join his party.
Absolutely.
And come
and the fact that Sakho's gone down for the fight, he's looked at the table, he's seen the result, he wants to go and work hard and fight the cause for them. And the good thing is he's fit and well. You know, he's not injured, the fact that he hasn't been playing. He's been fit, he's training every day, he's got an own personal trainer, he's been playing games, so we can slot right in if he wants to.
OK, so there you go, that's some breaking transfer news for you. Sakho has joined Crystal Palace. He's left being here, only on loan though till the end of the season, a £2 million loan fee, and Palace will pay his wages is what we believe. Right, get you through with match reports in, whichever team you support, what you thought of their performance this evening in just 3 words, and we'll hear from Sean Dyche straight after the break. Premier League tonight, these 3 deep in conversation as usual, talking football though. Ruari says his 3-word match report better without Sturridge. No reasons, Peck. It's happening again. They're an Arsenal fan. Hannah, who's a Sunderland fan, very good point. And Brad, who's a Spurs fan, attacking prowess lacking. Let's have a quick look at the transfer trends table. We told you the news just before the break that Sakho is leaving Liverpool to head to Crystal Palace. You can see it there, second on the trending table. At the very top, though, Andros Townsend deal. There was a belief that he was going to go back to Newcastle. Of course, they sold him to Palace in the summer. We can tell you that deal is most definitely off. And at the bottom, you can see there a QPR loan for Ravel Morrison, who's been at Lazio for the last season and a bit. You knew him at United, he was then at QPR. A good move for him, good move for QPR?
Yeah, I think if it works out, it's a good move for all. I mean, last time he was at QPR, he set the world alight. He was brilliant, then got a move.
The key is if it works out, isn't it?
Exactly, and I think ability, everybody knows he's undoubted with this guy. He's a fantastic talent. I saw him as a kid growing up, but ability by itself doesn't get you anywhere. You have to make sure that the mental side of the game is in and you're in tune with it, with the club that you're at and the people you're there with. So this is a big chance for him. It's not gone well. It's not gone as well as he would have liked at Lazio. So this is an opportunity now for him to go and produce the goods. And I've spoken to him a couple of times during this window, and he seems focused and ready for the challenge.
Great. And you'll keep in touch with him. You'd be the perfect person to take him under your wing a bit, wouldn't you? And just give him a bit of guidance when he needs it.
Yeah, I'll definitely speak to him. I reached out to him over the last couple of months and to see where he's at, because you don't like seeing kids go on that wayward path and kind of bit disillusioned with life and with football. So, as I said, you don't want to lose a talent like that to football. Whether it's his fault or not, you'd like to hopefully get him on that track to come back and really show people the talent that he has got, because he's undoubted.
What a talent he is. OK, right, so big day for Burnley today. They bought Robbie Brady from Norwich. It was a transfer record for Burnley. Not only that, they then went and beat Leicester this evening, a really important win for them, because Leicester are scrapping down the bottom as well. Burnley look brilliant at home this season. And we can now speak to Sean Dyche, because Andy May spoke to him after the match.
Sean, that's a good day, isn't it? You beat the champions and you break your transfer record.
Yeah, well, first things first, the performance of the players tonight was excellent. I thought taking on a fine side in Leicester, the champions last season, they're having a sort of up and down time, but we know they're still a threat, and there was pockets of good play from them tonight, but I thought we gave a really powerful performance tonight, and certainly one overall that was worthy of winning.
What does Robbie bring to your team?
Well, we'll see. He can play in 2 or 3 different positions. I think we're looking for him to add a bit of pace, a bit of quality, a bit of know-how. Obviously, he's played in the Premier League before. So, him for that. Westy in a different way, obviously with an injury to Dean Marney, but also someone who we think, can enjoy his time here. And, at 26, he's quite experienced in the Premier League. So I think it's another good acquisition for us.
Hope to have a chat with him tonight.
I don't think I'll see them tonight. I've been out there working, as you know. So I'd expect them to be getting off, sorting their gear out and ready to come in Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well played, Sean. Thanks for joining us for that quick chat after the game as well. Brilliant so far this season for Burnley. And credit to that football club for getting relegated, sticking with the manager, giving him the time and now giving him the money, and they're 9th in the Premier League.
Fantastic.
Yeah, they brought in a couple of nice players, haven't they? I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but Burnley-type players, not necessarily superstars who are going to upset the team, but players that you feel, and Robbie Brady and Ashley Westwood, that can come in and do a really good job.
And they're improving
a lot of
the team,
experience, very much so.
He's a Premier League player. He had a fantastic summer with the Republic of Ireland, and I think it's a good move for Burnley and a good move for Robbie Brady as well to be back in the Premier League and show us what he's got.
I think as well, what this team have done at Burnley, I think they've learnt from their experience. A lot of the players were there when they was in the Premier League last time, but they've learnt from the experiences of last time in that home form is paramount. If you're going to stay in this league, you've got to make home form. It's got to be a place where teams don't enjoy coming in. At the moment, Burnley are doing that perfectly.
And while it's good for Robbie and good for Burnley, none of you sparing a thought for Norwich and their fans.
I do. I spare a thought for all the Norwich fans out there, like yourself. I know you'll be crying in the car going home tonight, but never mind.
Correct. Natalie, though, she won't be crying. She'll be delighted. Let's hear from her. She's a Burnley fan.
Oh, my God. Burnley have done it once again. This is absolutely Groundhog Day. How many times do I come on this channel and say, Burnley, Turf Moor, and it's a win? We will not be beaten. Honestly, I cannot believe we managed to get that. It was such a hard-fought win. Leicester were probably one of the strongest sides we've seen at Turf Moor this season. They were very strong, they were very resilient, and it looked throughout the whole of this game that they were going to cancel each other out. But Burnley just kept on going and going and going and got that magic goal towards the end. I can't even tell you what this does for our season. Just signed a great couple of players in the January transfer window. We're now on 29 points, and I really do think now we're going to stay up. I am so happy. Get in.
Well done, Natalie. Lovely to see that. Thank you very much for doing that for us as well. However, where there's delight, there's always despair in football. Jamie is a Leicester fan, and the reason why tonight's win was so big for Burnley is because it was against Leicester. We can now hear from Jamie.
After many of our games this year, fans have blamed a lack of luck and may be tempted to do so again. Mike Dean making another high-profile error in missing the handball in the lead-up to Burnley's goal. But in truth, Leicester was second best in almost every department. The defence was sluggish, the midfield lacked that creative spark, and the front two were far from clinical. The result leaves us level on points with Swansea, who just a couple of weeks ago were a club in crisis. And at a time when a lot of the teams around us seem to be getting better, we seem to be getting steadily worse. We haven't really reinforced in the transfer window. We needed at least one centre-back in. As it stands, we've brought nothing in. And for the first time, I can honestly say I'm genuinely concerned.
Should he be?
Yeah, they look stale. That's what they look. They look like they've got no real ideas of way to play to get points on the table. Last season they were just churning result after result after result, and this year they seem to like they've just gone completely the opposite way. And the problem is momentum. They've got momentum in the wrong way in terms of just getting beat on a regular basis. And they don't seem to have that fight and that togetherness that they had last season, that spark. There was a spark about this Leicester team last year that you thought that the likes of Vardy, the likes of Drinkwater having that relationship together on the pitch, it just doesn't seem, everything seems a bit fragmented at the moment, and everyone seems in disarray, and Ranieri doesn't seem to have the answers. The fans are getting the ump, and it's an endless list of negativity.
When you look at that table at the moment, Hull didn't play this evening, but Sunderland really are going to struggle. Crystal Palace, they picked up their first win under Sam Allardyce. Swansea, that's now, I think, 3 wins in the 4 games since Paul Clement arrived in there. Yeah, this is not going to be easy for Leicester. A couple of teams below them are starting to gather some momentum as well.
They're in a dogfight. If they didn't think they were, certainly after tonight, they're in a dogfight. And as Rio said, momentum's huge. When you're winning games at the top of the league, it can carry you and get you more and more results. It has the reverse effect when you're further down the table.
It's important to remember, though, a couple of seasons ago, they were gone. They were dead and buried, and they survived. There are players there that know what it takes to get themselves out of this mess.
Yeah, but you just cannot believe that they're in this mess. You cannot believe the same players are churning out performances like they are now.
And it is the same
that
players.
were churning out performances of such greatness last year. It's absolutely amazing. And I don't think anybody will be able to put the finger on it.
And they've still got Champions League in the way as well.
Champions League in the way, exactly.
And they've had the good life. They've tasted that good life.
They've tasted it, yeah.
So to go back now to a relegation dogfight, it's a test of character now, a huge test. It's different from going from a relegation to on the crest of a wave. In reversing, that's difficult. I think more difficult.
What do you think when you see get rid of Claudio Ranieri?
Nonsense. They need the big players to stand up and try and get close to the form they were in when they won the league. You know, they were all sensational. They had the strong spine, and they had Mahrez on the wing, Albrighton on the other wing. They need the big players to stand up and try and get close to top form.
When you're, as Rio just said, when you're there and you're winning the league, and we all went crazy over them last year, and rightly so, because it was a wonderful achievement, and you know, a lot of them signed big new contracts, and a lot of them flirted with moving to big clubs, and you know, we've seen them all receive cars, which is absolutely fine. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. But then when it goes like that, they have to pull the finger out, don't they? They have to sort themselves out. They are in free fall. And the players that who were Player of the Years last year, and you know, were talked about in such high esteem that they're worth 40s and £50 million. They're worth next to nothing now the way they're playing, and that is an incredible shock.
It's a different dressing room, though, isn't it, to the one where you won title after title after title, because you were with players that were, with all due respect to Leicester, they were a cut above. They were a lot of world-class players you played with, and I think you pushed each other on. Maybe these Leicester guys, a lot of them have had really nice new contracts from that season when they won the title. They've won the league, they got their new car. Maybe it's just almost impossible, not just for a little bit, to think, I'm just going to sit back a bit.
Yeah, I think it's not right to compare that. I just think this was a great season, a standout season for him, and it's something that we probably won't see in our lifetime. It's unique, yeah. And but it seems from the outside that they've won the league, popped the champagne, got the medals, and gone, you know what? This is unbelievable. What a feeling, and enjoyed the feeling for too long. And it's difficult then to get back on the track and start grafting again, because as you see now, they're in free fall, they're on their way down, and it's hard to cling on then and try and get yourself back up the ladder. It's difficult.
Because I think we'll all agree, we didn't expect them to finish anywhere near the top six, yeah? Even the top 10. We all, if they would have finished 10th this year, we all would have went fair enough.
Not
well
the bottom
done,
three.
But not fighting. And as Rio said now, and as Stephen rightly said, the fact that they're in the Champions League. So they've got one eye on that, and yet this is the most important thing.
Do any of you genuinely think that they will go down?
I think they'll be all right.
I think they'll be all right.
I think they'll improve after probably they go out to the Champions League.
I'm not sure.
I do.
I'm not sure. I think it's just momentum so key at this point, whether at the top of the table or
you're
down
not a man
the
that doesn't have an opinion. You think they're going to go down?
Do you think they need to go to the Champions League?
Yeah.
I think the form will improve domestically when they do, because
if they get
I agree
out.
with you. I think they've got an eye on that, and they're thinking, oh, Champions League, let's see if we do well.
Toss away the Champions League and then get relegated. Then what have you been left with?
I just think they've took their eye off the Premier League slightly from the beginning, and I think they're finding it hard to get back.
It's crazy. Champions last year, and they're talking about relegation. It's just comical, really.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right, well, talking about a team on the up then, Swansea. This is Declan, he's a Swansea fan.
A few weeks ago I was on the show saying Swansea are doomed, Swansea are going to get relegated. I think I've changed my mind. Swansea just recorded an epic 2-1 win against Southampton. Brilliant display. There's 2 wins on the bounce now from last week's brilliant win at Anfield. I think it's just much more positive now at the Liberty Stadium. The team are playing good football. There's much more fight there. Huge 3 points. Hopefully we can keep it up. Get in.
Get in, indeed. That's a big win for them again tonight. You know, beating Southampton, 3 wins from 4. We've all spoken about the word momentum tonight. They've got it.
Yeah, Paul Clement has to take a huge amount of credit to come in there. He seems to have shifted the mindset within that squad and give them a bit of confidence, and results do that as well. And I think no one doubted the players that they got at Swansea. They've got some very good footballers. They play really good football, and maybe in the last 6 to 12 months they've maybe gone away from the way that they got them there in terms of playing football. They played a lot of just passing, short passing, dynamic football, and they seem to have gone back to that a little bit.
With all the teams down there, you have to give me 3 names today. The transfer window's now shut, so unless someone signed a deal paperwork and it doesn't come out till 1 o'clock in the morning, which is what you can do under the terms, now the transfer window's closed. We know who's been bought, who's been sold, who stays up this season, or more pertinently, who are the 3 that go?
I think Hull will go down.
Sunderland.
Okay, well, right. You go
I'm not picking the third one.
Well, we've gone Hull.
I'll go for Hull.
I've gone Hull.
He's taken Hull.
Wow.
It can be 1 or 4.
Yeah,
it changes from week to week.
But at the moment, who is it? So you all think Hull and Sunderland, right?
Yeah.
I think in the past I've said Palace, and I've just
keep I've just said
Hull, Sunderland, and Middlesbrough.
Yeah, keep an eye on Middlesbrough.
I don't want Middlesbrough
Their
to
manager
go down.
Yesterday at his press conference didn't look happy, which tells me that the mood in the camp's not good. They could have a wobble.
Yeah, he's not happy at all. But
why not?
Because I don't think he got the players that he wanted to. I think that's been the problem all the time. It's hard to, unfortunately, for that part of England, it's hard to attract the players if teams in London or Crystal Palace want them. Players from abroad would rather settle in London rather than...
Came out and said, we signed Patrick Bamford, he's not played for 18 months, don't expect him to come and score 5 goals straight away. That's a clear message,
but
isn't it?
They've needed forwards, haven't they? He's wanted other players and he hasn't been able to get them, which is hard. But I mean, I'd love him to stay up.
£8 million for a player who hadn't played for how long? 18 months?
Unreal.
Premier League's going crazy.
Went crazy a long time ago, didn't it?
Long may it continue.
Right, well, let's look ahead to tomorrow. Manchester United up against Hull. And there's a video doing the rounds that's got your goat, right?
No, I'll just see a video of the lads dancing in the change room. Listen, I'm all for having a bit of fun on social media and stuff. Listen, but when you're 5th in the league and you're not in the Champions League positions and you're fighting...
Right, be totally honest with us. Would this have happened in your day at United?
No.
Why not?
Because you haven't won anything yet. Until you win something, when you're winning, that's when you go out and do stuff like that. The reason as well, because I've dug out Arsenal players for things like this before, and it'd be wrong of me not to speak about the United players. Listen, I'm all for having fun, and I think part of Pogba's appeal especially is that he's a happy, free spirit, which I wouldn't want to take anything away from. But I think there's timing and there's getting the balance right, and when you do these things is when there's...
I think that's the thing, really, isn't it? It's getting the balance right, isn't it? Liverpool had the same problem with Balotelli. He was more famous for what he did off the field than doing it on the pitch. And I think once you win it, you can do whatever you want. But if you don't win anything and you fail at the last minute, you end up looking idiotic because of it.
Maybe Jesse's just excited that he's dancing with the world's most expensive footballer.
Is that the training ground?
It's the training ground, But listen, they can dance. Don't get me wrong.
They've got moves. Just keep it in house. Have the fun, have the banter, have the great spirit. But
that's the thing. It's his obsession. It's the obsession of sharing it with the rest of the world.
If that comes out after you've just got to a cup final, or you've won the cup final, or you've won a league or something like that. Listen, I'll be pushing that out all over the game. I'll be the first one to be doing that. But I want to. Looking at myself, the way I'd have been thinking about it. We're 5th in the league. We're fighting for a Champions League position. We haven't got our hands on any silverware yet. I'd want to keep myself under the radar a little bit until I get to that point.
There's a tweet that came in from Andrew. He says, I'd love nothing more than Fergie to walk in and punch the pair of them.
If Fergie's there, no chance.
Wouldn't happen. And James Maguire, Lingard needs to grow up and work on his game. The club should ban him and the rest of them from social media. It's an interesting one, Jesse, because he's got more criticism for this than Paul Pogba. And I think people look at that and they go, well, it's Paul Pogba. He's already achieved something in the game. He deserves to do that. Jesse Lingard is a young guy who's actually fighting for his place in the United starting 11.
Yeah, but this is the problem. Doing it at the timing of this type of thing, that's the problem, because you allow yourself to be open to criticism. Your players, you want to get criticised when you're doing something on the pitch, not when off the pitch. And that's the problem. You leave yourself wide open. But listen, Jesse Lingard's a top young player, and I think he's going to go on to do great things in the game. And I just think sometimes it's the club are looking at these things, and social media now, sometimes you can't control it, because players that are pressing a button can put something out.
It's hard to get the balance right, though, isn't it? Because if you're a young player, you want to be on social media.
No, but as Rio said, if Jesse Lingard scores the winner in the FA Cup final, which he did, and that was afterwards in the dressing room, you'd forgive it. You'd say no problem at all. He's just scored the winner.
If he's on the bench against Hull tomorrow.
But that's the thing. If they lose tomorrow against Hull, with the results that they shouldn't do, of course, but with all the results that have just gone. You need them to be successful to justify it all, that's all.
But there's pressure on young players, or any player now, to use social media. You know, sponsors want you to be doing it, fans think that it makes you feel closer to the players.
In the right way. In the right way, not dancing the night before a game.
Stevie, how many of your sponsors, Mac are the same, all of us are the same, will say to you, listen, we want you to do this on a Thursday night, can you do this? 9 times out of 10, you'd look at the fella who's asking and say, are you sure? No. Because I don't want to do it then, because it ain't right for me. And that's the thing, you've got to be able to have the personality to say, listen, when the time's right, I'll do this, and don't leave yourself out there for criticism.
If we go for a dance tonight and I see your phone coming out of your pocket, I'll know exactly what's going on.
I'm on the way home, mate. I'm going home. I've got things to do when I get back.
School run in the morning.
School run.
The perfect dad, that's what he is. You are, aren't you? You're back in London for the school run in the morning. Right, thanks very much. Right, let's have a quick look at what's still to come on BT Sport over the next little while. West Ham against Manchester City tomorrow evening. BT Sport score, as always, Saturday from 2:30, followed by Spurs against Borough, and then Premier League tonight. Guys, thank you very much for your company this evening. Really enjoyed that. The last word, as ever, goes to you. Thanks for joining us for this evening's Transfer Deadline Day Premier League tonight. Farewell, Robbie Brady.
Happy Transfer Deadline Day to you all.
Rumours, but nothing.
We replaced Payet with the Scottish Payet, Snodgrass. It's probably as good.
Get a striker in, over the line, today. Get it done.
Appalling. Absolutely appalling. That first half is unforgivable.
I'm out of breath because I've just been running around screaming because we've actually won a game of football.
Watford FC, 3 points at Emirates. Come on, you all.
A few weeks ago, I was on the show saying Swansea are doomed. Swansea are going to get relegated. I think I've changed my mind.